fuck, it's an RAS-47, just as I thought. Good thing I have my handy-dandy EDC wire cutters to defuse this. Which one is it?
It's the red one.
There's 2 fucking red wires.
Oh, let's cut one.
Pray to Stoner I'm right. Whew. Century Arms RAS-47. Where to start? I guess I'll start with the good because that list is a lot shorter. The finish on these rifles is okay. It's better than Arsenal. It's not barbecue paint. And that's about it. They do have a bolt hold open, which is cool, I guess, if you want to lock your bolt back on an AK. But that's more for administrative purposes. It doesn't actually give you any functional benefit. Moving on to the negatives, though, there's a lot. Kind of the crown jewel, and why a lot of you are probably here, is that these explode. They have a inferior bolt. They're soft, they're squishy, and they like to go out of headspace when you shoot them a lot. And what that causes is all sorts of fun things. If the gun doesn't work, that's one of the lucky examples. But a lot of times these will blow up. There's several cases of these having catastrophic failures due to that inferior bolt material. So not a good look, Century, not a good look. This is a known issue. If you don't believe me, you can just Google it. It's all over the place, man. That's just kind of that's the one big issue. Moving on to the smaller issue, there are examples of the rivets on these coming loose. The sights break off, and kind of just all the parts on these suck. The wood furniture these come with is basically particle board, and it breaks. The stocks snap off. The handguards don't dissipate heat very well. Just all around pretty shitty. So if you get one like this, swap it out immediately. This one has an Arsenal stock on it and a Midwest Industries forend, surrounding all sorts of cool accessories to the front of your AK. Make it more like an AR. The folks over at AK Operators Union have a really good in-depth video on these, kind of going through all the issues. They put a very rigorous test through this and confirmed a lot of the things that you'll see on the internet about them. Those guys are very knowledgeable on the AK platform, and they don't have much good to say about it. Dude, these things have probably turned so many drug dealers into accidental suicide bombers. Oh, it does have a sight rail on it, which you're gonna need because, like I said, these sights are pretty shitty. They break off. The other piece that kind of breaks off is the sling mount there. I know AK Operators Union, that was one of the things they highlighted. It snapped right off, which could have been intentional. They could have put like a one-time QD sling release if you need to dump your gun real quick, just yank on it kind of hard twice, and it'll come right off. The triggers on these, it's an AK trigger. Nothing I'm gonna write home about. AK triggers are notoriously pretty okay. And it falls into that category. It's not really bad, and I definitely would not call it good. These are made from a stamped receiver, so they are an AKM. They do have a milled model they make. It's the C39s. It's also an American-made AK. Stay away from it. People get drawn to these because it's an American-made AK-47, so it's got to be better, right? Well, that's wrong. These kind of put a bad taste in everyone's mouth for American-made AKs. Everyone was really excited when these were coming out, and then Century Arms just decided to put out this abortion and crucify any potential hope of having a good American-made AK-47. That being said, there are a select few companies that are putting out good American-made AKs like Meridian Defense and Rifle Dynamics. They're in the more upper echelons of AKs, but they're worth the money and they're really good products. A lot better than this. This is like the high point of rifles. I feel bad for High Point that I said that. That was an insult to High Point. This thing just like legitimately sucks. You shouldn't buy one. I know what you're asking. Should I buy one? And if it hasn't been made blatantly clear by now, you're the slow kid. No, you should not buy one. Buy an Arsenal or any other good AK. Century actually puts out some decent imported AKs like their Wassers and whatnot. They're pretty okay. Some of them ship with that same shitty furniture, but other than that, they're well built and most of the time will not blow up like these. I know some of you are getting real mad at this because you bought one. You put a couple mags through it at some car doors at your local gravel pit, and it didn't blow up. But your 30-round torture test does not count. Like I said, look it up. These things are pieces of shit. These things made the Wasser 10 appealing. Those things were garbage rods for the longest time. I mean, a fucking AMD 65 with that stupid wire folding stock is probably a better bet than this. Nothing against the Hungarian tankers though. It does have a threaded muzzle, so you can put any kind of muzzle brake you want on there as long as the thread pattern is correct. I am pretty certain that the muzzle threads on this are not concentric based on the quality of the rest of the rifle, so I would not recommend putting any kind of suppressor on it, and if you do, quadruple check it with an alignment rod. This is one of the few rifles that you're going to need to keep some extra headspace gauges around to, headspace it every 10 rounds to make sure it's not going to blow up on the next mag. Call me a purist, but these do not have an inclusion for a cleaning rod. That's something that I generally think you need on AKs. They all shoot that shitty Russian commie ammo and get stuck cases occasionally, so that's something you should probably have on there. Let's be real though. I mean, I don't think you're going to shoot this enough to need to clean it or induce a stuck case. Like, it'll probably fail elsewhere before that becomes an issue. Part of me thinks they're just like getting these out of Khyber Pass and like sneaking them over here. I mean, the gunsmith and Khyber Pass are actually probably doing a little bit of a better job, to be honest, but it's really sad when you think about it. I'd rather have a Pakistani, garage-made AK that was built from a shovel and a car exhaust system than this, but that's the world I live in. If you want an AK to look cool and you don't plan on actually shooting it, this is a super solid option. These could also be a good prop for like your SoundCloud rap video if you're, just want a chopper, but you don't want to actually like get a quality firearm. Super solid. Hey, if you are using this as a prop irresponsibly and it gets confiscated, you're not out that much of a loss. Like, the cop did you a fucking favor. Like, I get the whole AK thing, but if you're gonna do it, like, get a good one. Just because it's an AK does not mean it's a good firearm by default. And if you're gonna get an AK, get it in 545, because this is like shitty 300 blackout. So back when these were available, they were selling for about $650 to $700. There's a lot better places to spend your money. Like you could buy a few high points for that. You'd probably be better off. To my understanding, this isn't on Century's website as of right now, so I don't think they make them anymore. There's probably still some floating around out there, but I just got to do my civil service and warn people about them. They do have the VSKA now. Full disclaimer, don't have any hands-on experience with that. Be cautious. Maybe someday we'll review one of those.
Century Arms sells fucking propellers on their website.
Propellers.
Aluminum propellers, like both propellers.
They're Milsurp propellers, right?
Michigan Wheel Marine Michigan Match propeller.
They sell propellers. Century Arms sells propellers on their website, boat propellers. Is this a boat propeller that looks like an AK-47?
They sell toggle switches.
This is the same website you're on, right?
Yep. It's the Century Arms website.
They sell toggle switches and boat propellers. Century Arms sells toggle switches and boat propellers on their website. They're pulling like a Sears.
And
This,
butter.
what?
And butter.
They sell butter.
It's like big game bait butter.
Big game bait butter. They sell big game bait butter as well. I'm fucking done. I'm fucking over this. Century Arms is pulling a Sears. Do they even know what they're doing anymore? Holy shit.
And the life jacket.
They sell life jackets too. So when all you pussies lose your guns in a boating accident, you can have a fucking life jacket to save your ass.
There's an anchor.
There's an anchor. They sell boating supplies. Holy fuck. They sell light bulbs.
Sea-Dog based light bulb.
They sell fucking light bulbs. But they're imported, so it's almost acceptable because they import shit. That's what they do, and they make shitty AK-47s, but the ones that are imported are good. Like the Wassers and shit and whatnot are solid, but not the American-made ones. The capitalism is too strong for these. You gotta buy them from a country where the people were starving. They're made better there. Was this under the boat anchor category on the website? And remember, stay strapped or get clapped. Fucking boat anchors, I can't deal.